So one of the common things that every married couple faces is the question of each other's families. One of the things that we've experienced, one of the things that you have experienced if you're married, if you're not married and you're watching this, good for you. You are going to experience this. You don't just marry a person, you marry a family. And there's different dynamics in that you need to account for as somebody who is now a part of that person's family and they're a part of you. One of the challenges that we see oftentimes happening, and really it isn't something that we had to deal with, for which I'm grateful. There are other things, but not this, is the idea of leaving and cleaving. The Bible comes to you and says, you are to leave your mother, you are to leave your father, and you are to cling to your husband, you are to cling to your wife. There is a priority being given there, and it's the priority to this over this. Meaning her mom is no longer the priority, or her dad is no longer the priority, or her family that she came from is no longer the priority, but I am. And the same thing, from my perspective, or from your perspective, or from your spouse's perspective. And that's not easy. Mm-hmm. That can be a real challenge to people.
One of the things that we did experience is when Tom was an attorney early on, he felt the call into the ministry. And we had mentioned that to my father, who was an unbeliever at the time, and he was very, very unhappy with that. And he made it very clear. And that was sad because we knew he was an unbeliever, and we were hoping that that would be a smooth transition, but it wasn't. And so what I had to do was continue to support Tom and try to love him as best I could, and pray for God to change his heart about the whole thing. But these are some of the dynamics of what it means to deal with your family when maybe they don't appreciate something about your spouse.
Yeah, so there's a certain amount of management that you have to do of your own family for the sake of your spouse at times, where you're intervening in defense of your relationship and in defense of this person who is now primary to you. God comes to you, he makes the two one. So now you are one with this person. You are to treat her or him as your own flesh. And so sometimes what that requires is you have to intervene with your own family in defense of this relationship, because this is what you need to protect. But then I think that there are times where sometimes it's helpful, at least for the guy, the man, the husband, to intervene for the protection of his own wife, perhaps with someone in their family. And so there was a situation once where I had to sit down with a member of her side of the family, still my family, and said, hey, here's how I feel about this, here's how we feel about this, and here's how we're going to behave in regard to this particular situation, which is not an easy thing to do, but it's a helpful thing to do. I think a related issue to this, the idea of you're getting a family and you're a part of it and they're a part of you, is just as your parents get older. So we've experienced that. So Beth's parents, she's the youngest by far in her family, and I'm the oldest by far in my family. My mom was 19 when she had me. And so her parents are, or were, 15, 18 years older than my folks. And so we have gone through the aging process. Yes. We've gone through
my mom's dementia.
We've gone through her mom's dementia. Her dad had a debilitating illness that ultimately took his life in the end. Your sister had a stroke, and that has been, there's been a lot entailed and tied up in that. And so what happens in those situations, or what can happen, if you're not careful and you're not committed to we're one, is you can begin to resent the amount of involvement that it takes to care for her family. And what you need to lay before the Lord and to remember is that it's not her family, it's my family. It's not just her mother, she belongs to me. It's not just her father, he belongs to me. It's not just her sister. No, this is us. So make this the priority in regard to your family. And remember, it's not your parents or my parents or your siblings or my siblings. It's our family, and together the two of us are going to address the challenges of life as God brings them to us. And what you'll learn as you do that is you'll see things in the other person that you've never seen that you love and appreciate, and God is the one who will literally carry you through. So you'll see more of Him in the hard stuff than anywhere else.